Hi beauties, welcome back to My Black Is BeYoutiful. Today I'm going to do an eyebrow tutorial for you guys. I'm just going to show you how I do my eyebrows on ungroomed brows. So beauties, just subscribe below if you want to learn more and see more tips and tricks. The first step I'm going to do is use my Milani Easybrow Double Duo pencil. I don't know if you guys can really see that. Double Duo pencil in dark brown. Water resistant. It is also a mechanical pencil. Automatic as they call it. So the first thing we're going to do is just line your brow with very light strokes. Like, you have to have an a light hand while you're doing this. So that way you don't, one, overdraw your brows, and two, make your lines way too dark. I'm just lightly going across my brow. Light strokes. You kind of just want to follow the shape of your brow. Remember, your brows are not groomed, so it may look a little weird. And of course, it's going to look a little weird at first, but guys, I promise you, it's going to look 10 times better once we clean it up. Now I'm just going to go over to the other side. Light strokes here as well. Line this side. Then you want to bring your tail down. Bring the tail of your eyebrow down. It doesn't really matter how perfect your lines are at this moment, and I know I look really crazy right now, but that doesn't really matter because we do have a handy dandy trick. Second step is to just take your spoolie on the end of your brush, or if you have a separate spoolie. Mine isn't separate, but we're going to just brush this out to define these lines a little bit. And what I do is I focus on the front just to make it a little bit more faint than the rest of my brow. I blend it in a little bit. I don't really focus too much on the tail. I don't focus too much on the tail only because when I don't have them drawn in, you can barely see anything there. So I don't want to take any product off. I want it all to stay there. Okay, now the second step is our concealer. Now what I used to use was this Pro Conceal RX. And it was in the shade Fair Light, and it was very light. But now I have my handy dandy Pro Conceal regular brand. I don't know what brand that was. Physician Strength Concealer. This one is LA Girl Concealer, Pro Conceal. The one I see a lot of people using. This one is really, really good. And it is in the shade Creamy Beige. So what I'm going to do is just push it up a little bit to get the product to the tip of the brush. And then I'm going to take my own brush that I use, and I'm just going to take some of the product onto one of the brushes that I use. Now this is the brush I use. Just to define my lines a little bit, I'm going to put the concealer underneath where I just put the eyeliner or brow liner. Gonna make a line, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side as well. So take your brow. That's why I said it doesn't really matter how your lines look, because this concealer is gonna wipe away any mistakes, any bad lines, anything that you do not want there, anything you shouldn't have had there. And the third step is going to be to blend this concealer out. Now I'm just going to use a regular black tip brush. It is from BH Cosmetics. So what I'm going to do is just blend this in. As best as you can to where you see no more concealer. Blend the other side in. There you go. And there, now it looks a little bit more defined, a little bit more shaped. It doesn't look crazy as it did at first when you first just drew your brows on. Now, I normally don't do this, but since I'm doing it for the sake of showing you guys how it's done, I'm just gonna do the top of my brows so you guys can see that any harsh lines or any mistakes that you made at the top can also be taken away. Normally I just do under my brow, like on my brow bone. And the top is already pretty much perfect. But like I said, this is for untamed brows, as in unwaxed brows, unshaven brows, anything untamed. As you can see, I should have gone and got my eyebrows waxed weeks ago. But since I didn't, I can still make them look like they have been. And I'm just gonna pretty much blend that in to the point of being non-existent. That way you see no more concealer. And it should look a little bit like this. And what I do is I take this to pretty much erase those spots that I have there as well. And now the concealer, as long as you get the right shade for you, which I found out the hard way, it's gonna look as natural as possible. And there we go. There's my brows. And it doesn't take long. It literally takes me probably a little under 5 minutes. It seriously doesn't take long at all. But what I would recommend doing is taking your spoolie and brushing out your hairs before you draw your lines, before you do your defining. And that way you can make sure all your hair is going in one direction. And like I said, I haven't got my eyebrows waxed in maybe, it's probably been like 3 weeks. And you really can't tell once you pop that concealer up there. I know you guys see my brows in the beginning of this tutorial, but now they look like I've just gotten them waxed. So that is the perfect makeover, the perfect step of being able to have your brows pretty much looking like you just came from getting them waxed, even though you didn't. So my next video, I will show you guys how to do your eyebrows on waxed brows, so you guys can see the difference and see how clean it is versus how clean it isn't right now. I mean, it does look really clean. It looks like there's no... If you guys were up close and personal, you would probably be able to see the hairs that I have here that I haven't plucked or anything. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but like I said, my next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do your brows on a waxed surface. So stay tuned, subscribe below, like and comment. Toodles!